On today's Michigan Football Report, we have some major injury news to talk about. Been waiting all day really to figure out what the travel roster looked like. There are a couple guys that everyone really wants to know their status. Finally have the word that nobody else has reported yet. So we're getting this video as fast as we can here. Coming up on 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday as Michigan travels to Piscataway, New Jersey to play Rutgers tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Big Ten Network. We've got that story, some offensive game plan that you're going to want to know about, and Michigan's uniforms tomorrow night, all coming up in the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports right now. There is no one in the Michigan football universe who consistently gives injury news and rumors, confirming or denying them, as early and as accurately as we do, plus the inside info you want to know about the depth chart, starters, game plan on this Michigan football program. You guys have seen it all season long. We've been right almost all the time. I'm sure there's a few things we've been wrong on, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet, youtube.com/Michigan TV, as we come up on 23,000 subscribers here on the channel. 22,581 is the number right now. Let's dive into some things. I want to start today's show with the injury report because there are two injuries that one we are waiting on and the other one we've known about, but I am surprised with the current status. So let's start with Gemon Green, Michigan's fifth-year starting cornerback, has had really a resurgent season, playing great, maybe playing himself his way into being a potential NFL player after the season. Source tells me that he is not cleared to play tomorrow night, did not make the trip with Michigan to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on New Jersey, and that freshman cornerback Will Johnson is expected to start in his place. So if you guys didn't follow along, where were you over the last few days? Gemon Green hit over the head multiple times Saturday night after the melee in the Michigan Stadium tunnel, and the latest on him. Now, Michigan has yet to comment on his status, and I don't know if they will officially. Maybe the blog boys and the official Michigan reporters that work for the radio station, etc., will put out word when Michigan goes into warm-ups about 6:15 Eastern tomorrow night. But he's not making the trip. Too injured to make it and wasn't going to start. So Will Johnson diving headfirst into being the starting cornerback now as a true freshman. And I'm going to say this, folks. Gemon Green with head and neck injuries after getting hit over the head by a Michigan State player multiple times. Him not playing makes this situation so much worse, right? F you to Michigan State. And the reason why, in a lot of ways, is because this is hurting his future earnings potential as maybe an NFL player. This is hurting Michigan's season, their continuity. This is a fifth-year senior kind of guy and a resurgent secondary for Michigan that lost quite a few players off last year's team. Vincent Gray, Brad Hawkins, Daxton Hill. And what does this look like for the Ohio State game, right? I am not trying to minimize Gemon Green's injury in any way. I hope he is healthy as an ox. I don't know what's healthy these days, but I hope he's super healthy. He returns next week for Nebraska. But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't return against Illinois the week after that? What if maybe he's a game time decision for Ohio State plays? This completely alters Michigan's defensive strategy, defensive philosophy, with playing 5, 6, 7 of the same guys to shut down the most potent passing game in all of college football. That is the Ohio State Buckeyes with C.J. Stroud. So this is just absolutely, a tragedy. It's a shame, and I am so much madder about the Michigan State players and players that attacked multiple Michigan guys, Jaden McBurrows and now Gemon Green that we saw. So type F MSU to just tell the Spartans to, one of these that this guy going up. I'm not going to do it, right? Family-friendly show. But type FMSU down in the comments if you're as pissed off as I am. If I see anybody, repping Michigan State in the comments, you're officially blocked from today's show. So let's make sure we don't see any of those. Drown them out with some FMSUs. All right, we've got another offensive, major update on an offensive player's injury. Very high-level offensive player you're going to want to know about. Plus, free Michigan football jersey if you get going with today's presenting sponsor. And then I'm going to tell you guys about the uniform alert. If you didn't see earlier on social media today, Michigan has rolling out a new combination of uniforms that we have yet to see so far, I believe, probably in the history of Michigan football. So stick around for that. But first, that middle one is today's presenting sponsor, BetUS, our sportsbook partner for the third straight season. I am putting money on Michigan to cover that 26-point spread it was at game time. I think they're going to win something like, what would I say, Jack? Do you remember 45-3 or something like 42-3, something like that? I think they will cover that by at least a touchdown. I'm making my bet at BetUS. I'm betting on the Georgia-Tennessee game. I'm going to bet on that Alabama LSU game. I am going to put a ton of bets out for NFL football on Sunday. You get 125% deposit bonus using promo code GOBLUE, no spaces, at chatsports.com/GoBlue. And if you missed it earlier in the week, jersey deal is back. It expires at kickoff on Saturday. So if you're going to make a single bet on any NFL, college football, NBA, Major League Baseball, World Series game this year, do it with BetUS. Get 125% deposit bonus using promo code GOBLUE. Use that link at the bottom of the screen. Don't just Google BetUS. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. It drops you onto the page and tracks your account to this promotion. You get going with them. Make your first deposit. 125% deposit bonus. Make your first bet. You email us, jersey@chatsports.com. Don't call up at US looking for the jerseys. We are fulfilling the jerseys here at Chat Sports. So email us, jersey@chatsports.com with your BetUS account number. We'll confirm it with the list and then get your shipping address and your size. You will have a Michigan football Jordan brand jersey plus 125% deposit bonus. Get going with BetUS, chatsports.com/GoBlue. Cade McNamara also not on the travel roster for this team tomorrow. Now, what does this mean for his future? McNamara still dealing with an injury. Not positive at this point that he is going to play again this season. There's a few reasons for that before we dive into what the depth chart looks like behind J.J. McCarthy. A couple things here is he's healthy enough to play if he was the starting quarterback and there wasn't a serviceable backup, is at least what I'm hearing. And I think this is no surprise that the expectation is that he will likely transfer after this season, given that J.J. McCarthy will be the starting quarterback next year, barring some sort of injury or something crazy with him. And so Cade is not necessarily too injured to play, but he's too injured to be the best backup for Michigan. And so with a limited travel roster, you're allowed like 65 guys to travel on the road for a Big Ten football game. Here's what the depth chart looks like heading into Rutgers. J.J. McCarthy, clearly, obviously, your starter, but walk-on Davis Warren, who we've seen a couple times this year, had a couple nice passes. I think it was in the Hawaii game, looked really good throwing the ball. And Michigan coaches are really excited about him. And there's even some talk that if Jaden Davis were to commit to Michigan for 2024, that he could sit behind Davis Warren for maybe a year as a true freshman in 24 if McCarthy leaves after his junior year in 2023. That's how good Davis Warren has practiced for Michigan. Alex Orji, Orji in the end zone, as you've heard on a few Michigan games this year. He is the third-string quarterback. Would be in the game only in an absolute emergency situation. I don't think it would be a situation where Michigan would be passing the ball much. It might be like Wildcats and read option kind of stuff. So with that being said, predict the score tomorrow night. Michigan at Rutgers. They're favored by 26.5 points, depending on when you're watching this, when you're looking at the sports books. I'm saying, I'm just going to make my final game time call. I'm going to say 42-3 will be the final score. That's right at the over-under, which I think is 45.5, 46 right now. So maybe under by a half point. But with the news, the injury, hey, maybe Michigan plays angry tomorrow. Maybe they want to rub it into Rutgers for some reason to take it out on Michigan State. Maybe. But I do think they'll cover at least the 26.5 point spread. That Rutgers defense is very good. Rutgers offense, one of the worst in college football at this point. Go down, predict the score. Michigan at Rutgers. Check out the uniforms that the Wolverines are wearing tomorrow. There had been speculation, and this is one of the other things I was trying to wait on before we put out today's video, was the uniforms, because Michigan, Rutgers is doing this kind of white night, right? The Scarlet Knights are doing a white night thing, kind of like a Penn State whiteout, and all the promotional materials they put out this week have been Rutgers players in all white. So there was some chatter out there that said, well, if Rutgers wears all white, like home teams almost really never do. LSU is one of the few college football programs, maybe the only one, that consistently wears all whites or white jerseys at home. If Rutgers did that, they'd have to let Michigan know in advance, and of course Michigan would have to wear a non-white uniform. So there was some talk that maybe Michigan could wear all their all blues in the road. Maybe they break out the all maizes. That would look kind of weird, whites versus maizes. But alas, Rutgers will not be wearing whites. Michigan wearing whites. I do like the accents, right? The maize socks, which they've never worn with the white jerseys, at least as far as I could see. I went back to almost every game in the Harbaugh era and looked at the uniforms, and we're told they'll have maize sleeves if players are cold enough that they've got to wear them. So pretty cool. Love the maize accents on the blue, and now with the white uniforms. Kind of give that vibe from Penn State last year where they had the maize pants and the all maize everything, gloves, sleeves, socks, etc. with the white jerseys. Make sure you guys are subscribed. This is the most popular program that covers Michigan football in TV, radio, podcast, YouTube, Twitter Spaces, anything you do that is not me just saying that or claiming that, that is factual information. Our audience numbers are right there on the page. You can go through, look at them, and go look at the podcast charts, look at the radio audience of the competition. More people watch this show than any other that cover Michigan football. Really proud of that and want you guys to be part of it. We will be posting our post-game show immediately after the game tomorrow night, so make sure you are subscribed to youtube.com/MichiganTV. Little insight into this game. Donovan Edwards is going to have a bigger role. And we told you about Donovan Edwards' bigger role a few weeks ago, and that really came true when he had 170-plus yards against Penn State. Now, Michigan understands that Blake Corum is right in the middle of a Heisman Trophy race, but also understands that if he's not fully healthy against Ohio State, none of that will really matter. He's not going to win the Heisman unless they beat Ohio State, and he has to be healthy and have a big game for Michigan to do that. So don't expect Blake Corum to have his 25, 28, 31, 33 carries tomorrow. I would expect Corum to have more around 17 to 22, 24, and Donovan Edwards will get much more of a run. If Michigan is up by multiple scores once the third quarter comes around, I wouldn't expect to see Blake Corum a ton left the rest of that night. Donovan Edwards has seen a lot of play in the passing game, has split out a wide receiver quite a bit this year, but only really the Penn State game has been the game that he got featured in the running attack. Tomorrow night, 15-plus carries is the expectation for Michigan's sophomore future starting running back to be. Next year will be his show, assuming that Blake Corum does, in fact, go to the NFL draft. I want to ask you guys this question. Knowing that Blake Corum will maybe take a little step back, not get as many carries, Donovan Edwards will have the big night tomorrow, and you know how Michigan goes. When they are up, they rarely pass and stick to the running game. How many rushing yards will Michigan have tomorrow? I'm going to go 310 is my prediction. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments here on the Michigan Football Report YouTube channel from Chat Sports. And to finish today's video, just want to remind you guys I'm at James Yoder at Twitter. I've got about 150 new followers in the last week, so really appreciate it. Followed back about 20, 25 of you guys that I said that I would. And we're creeping up. We're almost at 9,100. Let's get to 10,000. I will be tweeting out during the game, have a halftime show video only on Twitter for you guys, and then just be giving you updates, highlights, and analysis throughout tomorrow's Michigan Rutgers game. So make sure you follow me. It's at James Yoder. We'll put out another video tomorrow morning before the game, so stick with us. Subscribe to the channel. Until I see you guys after the game Saturday, go Blue.